We're delighted you're here. If this is your first meeting, we just absolutely appreciate your taking your time to do this. If it is your first meeting, then let me tell you that you have an opportunity to influence the future meetings like this, because we would relish your input. If you have a topic you'd like for us to talk about a month from now or 2 months from now, if you would email that to Tiffany, we'll be glad to consider that topic, because this is for you. This is not for us. This is for you. This is supposed to be an informative session, and we would like to hear from you in terms of what you'd like us to inform you about. Let me tell you that we are doing well. Any kind of success we might have is due to folks like you. We are currently ahead in collections compared to this time last year, which is wonderful, and that's the positive we want to focus on. We're a long ways from our goal, but it's still December, and we can get there from here. But literally, the takeaway is we're ahead by quite a bit from this time last year, and so I'm feeling very confident. The other thing I want to say is we had a record number of applications for grants this year. We haven't had this many since before COVID. 53 applications this year for grants, and so what that does for us is that gives our research review panel a lot of work to wade through all that and tell us which ones are the very, very best. And we're looking forward to their work that we won't see for a while, because they are buried right now in paperwork. But we really do appreciate their efforts. And just as information, these are folks who are renowned researchers on their own right, but they give us of their time and effort to wade through all the applications and tell us who the best possible applications are in terms of what potential there is for success. And so we look forward to that information. And we again are glad you're here. And I'm going to turn it back over to Tiffany for the agenda.
All right, guys, thanks so much. So you may recall that we have an agenda every month that has specific topics, like a fundraising idea of the month and a guest speaker. We're adding one moving forward with a public image moment every month. And we started that basically last month with Erin Andrews. You may recall, did our top 10 marketing tips. And it became top 11. And if you missed those, she had a handout that we shared via email. If someone did not get it, you're welcome to let me know. I'll be glad to email that to you. And I will add it to the website as well. But that video is also on our YouTube channel from the last meeting. And she did an excellent job. And tonight, I have asked our new Vice President of Public Image, who is from District 7670, Tim Radford, who is also the mayor of his hometown. And he is a member of the new satellite club that we have started, which is cause based to support the CART Fund. So he is so active and involved. And he is our new Vice President of Public Image. And we're going to take a different topic every month of something that we think that you could apply to what you are doing as a club or a district chair for CART. And because Tim also owns a radio station, that is one of his areas of expertise. And I've asked him to tell you guys tonight what is a PSA, and it's not a medical screening, and how you can learn a little bit about it and how you can make it effective for CART in your community or in your district. So, Tim, we are turning it over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yes, as Tiffany mentioned, I've been in broadcasting all my life, although my voice right now doesn't sound like it. Um, so I went to radio when I was 16 years old, and I bought the radio station when I was 22, right after I got out of college, and I've owned it ever since. So broadcasting is my lifeline and my love and passion. So one of the things I've learned in radio is PSAs. And I use a lot of radio jargon all the time. I was just talking a normal conversation one day, and I used the phrase, it's at the top of the hour. And that's what we say at the top of the hour newscast, but most people don't use that jargon. So how many of you know what a PSA is in radio or TV? Raise your hand. All right. For those of you who don't know, it is a public service announcement. And that's basically freebies, what radio stations and TV stations give to groups like the CART Fund that do good in our community, nonprofits. So it's advantageous of us to take advantage of that free inventory on those channels. I had an advertiser one time tell me that they run a sale once a month, They're kind of on a back street, not on the main street here in town. So they run a sale every month, but they never really advertised. And what they found out, they were losing money because no one knew they were having a sale. Everybody that came in were their regular customers. So they just give 25% off their regular price and lose money because nobody knew that a sale was happening on that back street. So we have to promote ourselves. And that one of the avenues is a public service announcement. And I had sent Tiffany a sample script today, and I just right before I got on here, I sent her a sample audio as well of what I had written. So that's one thing I'm working on right now is sample public service messages announcements for the CART Fund. So some insights on how CART Fund can write and record effective public service announcements and actually get them aired by broadcasters. First, you have to focus on the writing. Um, I'm sure we've all heard those fast car commercials where it just goes through so fast and you never really get what they're saying. Uh, I consider those to be ineffective. Some of the car dealers love them because they can hide that one car with that one VIN number on it for that one price, but all the others not the same price as that one they're advertising. So it's a very deceptive way of doing things by talking fast sometimes. So you have to focus on the human element. You have to tell compelling stories of individuals and families that are affected by Alzheimer's disease and highlight the emotional impact and urgency for a cure. We know that we need a cure as fast as possible, but a lot of the folks we're trying to reach don't think about Alzheimer's disease as much as we think about Alzheimer's disease. I think almost every family is affected, but we may not understand. Not everybody's thinking of the marketing aspect of getting the word out. So when we're creating a script, we need to keep it concise and impactful. Public service announcement is typically 30 seconds or 60 seconds long. So using clear, concise language and a very strong call to action. You can sit there and run a 60-second announcement unless there's a call to action, tell people what they need to do next, then we're not really getting an effective message out there. So we have to tell them if we want them to go to our website at cartfund.org and hit donate today, we need to put that in there at least twice so they know that that is their call to action. An emotional appeal. We elicit empathy and compassion from the audience through storytelling, music, and visuals. So we would not want a rap beat playing behind our message because that doesn't fit the message. So the music bed that's appropriate for the message that we're trying to send, that will elicit the emotion that we're trying to get from folks. Clear and consistent branding, maintain consistent messaging and logo usage. If we're doing a TV, maintain that important rotary is huge on the branding part. If you're a public image chair for any of your Rotary Club, you know how important the branding is, not to use old logos. Same with CART Fund. We have a new logo ourselves, new branding that we need to stay concise with it. That way, if you're in Kentucky and see this logo, it's the same branding as is in North Carolina or South Carolina. So maintaining that constant messaging throughout the PSA to build brand recognition, because our goal is to have CART Fund be a household name. So when people are thinking about donating to our fund to help us in Alzheimer's, that they think of CART Fund, they see that blue bucket with the coins coming out the top and spilling over the side, and they know that CART Fund is Coins for Alzheimer's Research Trust. When we're recording, we want to have a professional quality. We don't want to just record in the end of our phone. So in my case, I'm a radio station, so I have voice actors that are stationed across the country. So I send scripts off for professional voice actors to record, and I get those back. That way, not only do I look better as a radio station by having a professional quality, but the customers have a better quality product. My advertisers, I mean, when I talk about customers, the advertisers have a product that they can be proud of as well. So having a professional voice, professional looking video, so it's polished and impactful. Compelling visuals, if we're doing TV or Facebook or any kind of video ad, social media, we want to use high quality images. Nothing worse than seeing a video with really grainy, pixelated pictures in it. So want to make sure to use high quality images and videos to capture the audience's attention and support the message. And again, with music and sound effects, sometimes just hearing the sound effect of coins dropping could make them want to donate a handful of change or collect money in a jar. So those sound effects are very important as well, and the music bed that we put behind it. So they're there strategically to enhance the message and evoke emotions. Clear audio, ensure and that we have clear and understandable audio for effective communication. So that takes us all the way through writing the script, recording it, but how do we get them on the radio station? That's the biggest hurdle for a lot of folks. So we want to make sure to target specific broadcasters. Like in my case, I'm a radio station. I target probably a senior audience. Our format is Southern gospel music, so probably 35 years old and older would be my target demographic. And a lot of those families have members in their families that are going through Alzheimer's as well. So we want to target specific broadcasters. Research your local radio stations, research your local TV stations, and target those demographics that would most likely support the CART Fund's cause. We want to network with station contacts, build relationships with station managers. Um, if you're a newspaper, you have a newspaper in your town, make sure that you have a good relationship with the publisher and editor and public service directors. Like when I was president of my club had myself, which is a radio station, and the publisher of the newspaper as a club member and the director of the Chamber of Commerce. So we had all kinds of ties to media outlets just in our club that were there every week seeing what we did, and they wanted to be part of promoting what the club did. So make sure to network, build relationships with those folks, and then provide those high quality PSAs. Offer them pre-recorded PSAs, and I can help with those too. If folks need me to help with those pre-recorded PSAs in multiple formats, like a radio version, a TV version, an online version, that increases the chances of acceptance. But the one thing I have to keep in mind is because we do get inundated with all kinds of PSAs, and we have to kind of pick and choose which ones we want to use. PSAs are usually used as filler material. Like if we have a 3-minute commercial break and 30 seconds of that is not sold, then we drop in a public service message to fill out the rest of that break because something has to go there. So our challenge is to let them know that the CART fund belongs in that unsold space. And you do that by building those relationships with those media outlets. And that's something that I can't do for a station in Kentucky living in Murphy, but you and your communities can go and get to know your broadcasters very well and build those relationships. And then once they have those PSAs in their hand, we like to receive everything digitally now. So an email with an MP3 audio file or a video file attached. We don't like getting CDs and having to rip them off the CDs anymore like we used to, or we don't do cassette tapes. We don't do any of the old technology. It's all digital delivery now. So that's how we like to get those formats in an email format. Or if you bring us a jump drive, we can use those as well. And once they have them in their hands, check back regularly to see how they're performing and see if there's anything that you can do if they need the PSA freshened up at all. Because basically that communications between us as the CART Fund and those media outlets will be what gets these aired in the future. So that's all I have for my talks on PSAs. Do any of you have any questions about broadcasting PSA? I had written up like this 20-hour dissertation that I sent to Tiffany, and we scaled it back to a short tip.
He's not kidding. It really would have been 20 hours. He is so thorough. I said, look, you've got your topics ready for the next year. So And Kevin asked a question in the chat, and absolutely, we are. So Tim and I, we've created an entire public image team now, and we are working on these templates and products, as Tim mentioned, that we can deliver to you guys. So everyone's will be the same. We'll have that consistent branding, but we would love for folks to be creative and do some on their own. Just we would hope that you would run them by Tim or me or Rod, and let us just make sure it's the correct messaging. But absolutely, Tim has already written one that we're massaging through right now, and we have access to a lot of professional voices, as Tim said. And I remember the days, like Tim said, where they don't take cassettes and things anymore. But when Tim and I were both in college, we used to edit this on reel to reel because we're old now. And so literally with a razor blade and tape, literally, that's how I learned it in college. And so now we don't do that. We do everything electronically, and that makes it easy for us to share it with you guys as well. So absolutely. That will be coming soon. Tom,
I have a question for Tim.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, bud. Like a quick question. Have WSVM in Valdez, of course, I know you're familiar with WSVM. Is this something, and I said, I'm ignorant to this. Is this something that I go walking into their station and say, Tom Troy with the CART Fund with Rotary, and I have a PSA. Is this something that I do? And once I do, are the PSAs that you have written up, how are the people sending us the money? Are they writing a check? They putting it on a credit card? Is there a big blue bucket somewhere they're putting the coins in? How are you selling that?
So probably that would be the call to action of go to cartfund.org and hit the donate now button. So with these being kind of a nationwide or a region-wide thing, we would probably want to drive them to our website and collect donations that way. Or we could tell them if they're at a Rotary Club to donate to the Little Blue Book. But it's probably getting that specific down to each community may be a challenge. So I would say drive them to our website as a call of action.
I see. Okay. So I can contact you in the future about a PSA that you have already made that I can present to WSVM.
Yes, absolutely. And they would love to see your smiling face and build that relationship with you.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Thank you.
And it's a great opportunity when you do that to invite that person to come to your Rotary Club and let them come and learn a little bit more about Rotary in general.
Oh, that would be good too.
But remembering that we are not a Rotary, we're a partner of your club, but we're not part of Rotary International. So CART is a separate nonprofit. But that's an excellent opportunity, as Tim said, to be in front of them, to build those relationships. And that's what's really important.
Especially if there's a CART Fund program coming up at that Rotary Club. Definitely invite them to the club that day to learn more about the CART Fund.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. All right.
And so on this call, Tim, we have folks in small towns like you in Murphy or Highlands or things like that. But we also have like Kevin who lives outside of Charlotte, and they have larger markets. And so would you speak just briefly about the difference between the radio stations in smaller markets versus larger markets and how they might, because some of these folks are club chairs and some are district chairs that might want to reach out on a larger basis?
Absolutely. The larger stations may be a little harder to get in touch with a person via email. I've tried to get in touch with a TV station in Asheville for a while, but they don't always return my email. So it may just take me, I'm 2 hours from Asheville, so knocking on their door and introducing myself too. But if you go to the station's website, you'll usually get a contact us link. And usually the radio stations will email you back if you seem like you're not spam. But if your email comes across as a generic template written email, but also pick up the phone and call the person, I'll say the gatekeeper at the front desk, and that person, he or she can lead you to the right person that you need to get in touch with. And it could be someone who is devoted just to production. Stations used to have what's called a public affairs director that just dedicated themselves for that. But now we wear a lot of hats now. So the public affairs person's also the sports director, maybe the promotions person as well. So find out who wears all those hats and then talk to that person and let them know your passion. And they love hearing the testimonies as well, how this is important to you and why they should run these announcements in their unsold inventory.
Any other questions for Tim right now? We'll have some time at the end as well. If you think of something a little later, just write it down so you don't forget, and we'll come back to him at the end. Any other questions right now? Tim, this was awesome. Thank you. We're going to be talking a lot tonight about the personal touch, and that's really what Tim was talking about as well, with getting to know those people. And so I'm going to give you a little tip really quickly as we move into the next part of the agenda, which is your to-do list challenge for tonight. And so did you know that you can go into DACTB in your district and do a search by keyword in addition to just name? So you could type into your DACTB search the word radio, and you would find out if there's anyone in your district that actually has a radio station listed as part of their vocation or their job classification. So use DACTB. It can be a valuable resource for you. You could type in the name of your local newspaper and see if there's a person who is a member of a club in your club or your district. I use that a lot to look for people. So you don't have to just search by name. You can search by vocation as well. All right. So your to-do list challenge for this month, for those of you who maybe missed it last month, we decided we're going to start doing once every month a new challenge. We're calling it our to-do list, and we're asking everybody to go and do it. I heard from 2, maybe 3 people last month. So I'm going to remind you what last month's was, just in case you want to still do it. It's not too late. Last month's challenge was to reach out to one zero giving club in your district, if you are a district chair, or if you're a club chair and you want to help with that, you can do that too. But to talk to them and find out why are they a zero giving club and how can we move them to a club that participates in CART. And every district has at least one zero giving club. So that was our challenge for November. For December, I'm going to ask everyone, whether you're a district chair or a club chair, to participate in this monthly challenge. And that is to write a handwritten personal thank you note this month. I'm not going to tell you necessarily who you have to send it to. It might be if you're a district chair, maybe it's one of your club presidents, or maybe it's one of your club CART chairs. Maybe it's somebody in your district governor line, somebody that's been very supportive of CART, has been very supportive of you and your role with CART. Or maybe they chaired a fundraiser this year, or they made a major gift, or they encouraged other people to be recurring donors in their club. But I want every person on the call to pick one person that you will hand write a thank you note to before the end of December. I know it's a very busy time with the holidays, but I'm here to tell you that people love getting handwritten notes in the mail. And we make an extra effort to do that with people who are donating online through the portal, because as Tom said earlier, well, how are they making those donations? A lot of our contributions are not in the buckets anymore. They're online. We have a new vice president of engagement who is helping us to reach out to these people. Michelle is reaching out to them on a regular basis. Rod is. We are doing everything we can to add that personal touch. So I'm going to ask each of you to do that as your to-do list challenge for the month of December, just to write one thank you note to someone who really stands out in your club, in your district, in CART, whatever it might be. Maybe someone always answers your call when you call with a question, whatever the case may be. That is your challenge for the month of December. So raise your hand if you're going to do the December challenge. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. Since we are talking about the theme of personal contact this month, I asked Tammy Mosteller, the immediate past district governor from 7670. She is also a division director for CART, and she is the district chair for CART this year in our district, the district that I'm in. But I have asked her to join us tonight because she's been doing some really great things with emails. And it's evident because last month we had several of her club chairs on this call for the first time. This month, we have several of her club chairs on this call for the first time. And I think that it's really important that you make that personal contact. And so I asked Tammy to join us tonight to talk about year-end giving emails and that personal connection with emails. So I know Tammy has not been feeling well. She has been at home in the bed for well over a week now. So she says we're not going to see her face. So you guys forgive her. If she starts coughing or she needs a break, we will take it, Tammy. You just let me know. But we are so appreciative of you joining us tonight.
Thank you so much, Tiffany. I appreciate it. Let me back up a moment. When I was my club president elect, and I went to pets, and all they told me was, you do this, you do this, you do this, and you do this. Well, when I was growing up, if I didn't do what my daddy told me, I it wasn't pretty. So I grew up thinking I had to do what I was told to do. And so anyway, as I went in as president, I did what I was told to do, and my club got best small club of the year, and we won a lot of awards, and our membership grew 17% that year. And so then, as I went in as district governor, I did what they told me I had to do. When they said, do this, do this, do this, I didn't know that people didn't really do what they were told to do. So I just did it. And again, our district set a lot of records last year, and we did. It wasn't me. Let me just say that, first of all. When you ask people to do stuff, a lot of times they will. Many times, you have some that won't. You're going to have that. But I think as a whole, people are willing to help and want to help. But if you don't ask, they don't know how to help. So, and it's not about winning awards or anything like that. I just kind of gave that little story in there to say that, I asked people to do things. If I was told this is what I needed to do, I asked people to help me and to get these things accomplished. And they did. They stood up. Excuse me. And sometimes I think we don't ask because we think, well, I don't know if I really want to ask, but then again, you guys know me. I'm in sales. I've been in sales a long time, so I don't have a problem asking for the sale. So, but anyway, so Tiffany sent out an email, I don't know, a while back, and it said, contact your club chairs, contact your district chairs, contact. So I contacted them because I thought that's what I was supposed to do. So then, they started popping on these Zooms, which I'm so grateful for. And again, Tiffany sent out an email to us earlier. I think it was last week, maybe, or so, whenever it was. And it said, hey, don't forget to remind your members that they can make a year-end contribution, a year-end gift. So I just did what I was supposed to do. I just went on there and sent out an email reminding everyone that you can make a year-end gift to CART, because a lot of times people who do have investments and such, I'm not a financial person, but I know that at the end of the year, sometimes they have to get rid of some monies. And there's no better way to do that than with CART. So I did what I was asked to do. And that's all I'm asking you guys. If you just do what you're asked to do, you're going to see some results. Eventually, you're going to see results, and you're going to start to see more and more results. So, when Tiffany or Rod or someone sends out an email and they're saying, hey, forward this on to, or send this on to, it's not that they're just there saying, send it on, so you can say, delete. Really, if you will send it on, maybe you're not the one for that email, but somebody else may be. In the world of sales, we say not everybody's a stud. Somebody's a dud, but every dud knows a stud. So if you'll pass it on, maybe you're the dud. Maybe it's not for you, but there is a stud in the pile somewhere that will take a hold of that email. So I don't know if that's what you wanted, Tiffany, but I don't know. That's what I got tonight. Just pass it on. When you're told to do something, just do it.
I love it. And you might not be the stud, but every dud knows a stud. That might be the quote of the night, I think, actually. Any questions for Tammy? Who's going to raise their hand and tell me they're going to send an email out this week to their club or to their club chairs? Absolutely. And follow up on that. As a reminder about those year-end giving emails, you can not only encourage them to make a year-end gift, but remind them of the required minimum distributions from the accounts, the retirement accounts and such. We put that in our newsletter that went out November 30th, December 1st, whatever it was. And because those, as a reminder for those who may not remember, those type gifts, those RMDs, required minimum distributions, cannot be deposited into the portal online. Those checks that come from retirement accounts, Vanguard, financial services, all of those things have to be physically deposited at a bank. And so we did put it in the newsletter that they could mail it to their district chair, or they can mail it to me if they want. And they're coming in the mail, guys. I got 2 this weekend. One was $9,000 and one was $3,000. I mean, the checks are coming in. So just as a reminder that if you have folks that want to do that, if you as a district chair do not have a Wells Fargo in your area or do not have deposit slips, reach out to me. We'll be happy to take care of that for you. Michelle and I are kind of taking turns getting those things to the bank and getting all that taken care of. Michelle had to go. She had another meeting at 6. But please remember that that's another way that people are making gifts right now. If you need the verbiage from that and you did not get the newsletter this month for some reason, if you haven't signed up for our CART newsletter, let me know. I'll be happy to forward it to you. And to sign up for that newsletter, just go to cartfund.org. And in the upper right-hand corner, it says sign up for newsletter. And you can do that right there. So hopefully all of you got that already.
Say one thing. If you send out an email, make sure you always put not just the ask, but put again, like how they can deposit, how they can mail it in, how they can use the portal. If you're, yeah, I did want to say that earlier and I forgot to.
So I'm very excited about this month's fundraising idea of the month. We have had some really interesting ones over the last several months. And if you've missed those, I encourage you to go back and watch the previous videos of this meeting every month. They are on our YouTube channel. And after tonight, if you want to see some fun video from tonight's topic, we have shared that on our CART Fund Facebook page a few weeks ago, because the Rotary Club of Valdez in District 7670, under the leadership of Tom Troy as the CART chair, has done extraordinary things this year. Now, I will say that this club has long been a supporter of the CART Fund. They had a really great advocate for many years in the club that passed away, and Tom has done a great job of picking up that task and moving forward and finding fun, creative ways to raise money. So I'm going to introduce Tom Troy from the Rotary Club of Valdez and let him tell you a little bit about his club and what they have done to raise money for CART.
First of all, thank you for giving me this opportunity to do this. But the other day, I was told that that Tiffany was coming to our meeting, and I built this thing up in our little newsletter, and it wasn't Tiffany that was coming; it was Tammy that's coming. So not sorry, Tammy, but so here I am writing this stuff about Tiffany, and I'm not sure what to write, but I do remember things about Tiffany. And I put in the newsletter things like, oh, she's been in charge of CART for all these years. And oh my God, check out her shoes. And that was in there. And then a couple more paragraphs. And then at the last thing I said, so don't forget, I'll see you tomorrow at the meeting. And don't forget, Tiffany's going to be there. Don't forget to fasten your seatbelt. And then so I send this thing in to Lou to have her send it out to the membership. She sends me this little note saying Tiffany's not going to be there, Tammy is going to be there. So I had to do a complete rewrite. And then unfortunately, Tammy, you're under the weather, so I'm sure you didn't make the meeting today. I was under the weather this morning. I couldn't do it either. But anyway, now that I've used 3 minutes and 25 seconds, I'm going to keep rolling on this. What we have done in the past is we did a bake auction. Now, this is really, guys and girls, this is small change. I mean, I know that you guys talk, big money here, hundreds, thousands and stuff. If we have a meeting and we just do the happy buckets, we're pulling in $20, okay? But that $20 does add up. Now, we were trying to see how we could make this a little more. So we said, well, let's try a bake auction. And what I did was I got a sign-up sheet together, pass it around to all the members, and you would be surprised how many people actually volunteered to do this, to make their special cake. We've had everything from chocolate mousse cakes to pound cakes, $1 million pound cakes. Everybody had a kind of a goofy little name to go along with their cakes, which is great because I pass that on to the membership. So I'll call one of the people on the sign-up sheet and say, okay, in 2 weeks, are you available to make X kind of cake. And they'd say, you betcha, we will do it. So I got the information, what kind of cake they were going to do, and they know when they're going to do this and bring this into the meeting. So for 2 weeks before, in our weekly letters, I would start building this thing up. And yes, it's goofy, it's fun, but you know something, when you get the people that are volunteering to have fun doing this, and then you get the members giggling and laughing, shaking their heads, going, oh, what a cornball, you know, but they're bidding on these cakes that, you know, it's a $7-8 cake that these people have made, but we're getting $50-80 for these cakes because everybody's pumped, everybody's excited when it comes to auction day, and they're throwing their arms up, and you know, they're bidding, they're going kind of crazy sometimes. And you know, somebody will be there in the audience and he'll do this and do his nose, and I'll go $25, you know, and I'm just, you know, building this thing up and getting the momentum going for this. And I'm selling these cakes for, like I said, some good amount of change. A couple weeks beforehand, you know, someone's saying I'm making a chocolate cheesecake, and I'll be putting in there, they've got, you know, they're using Icelandic chocolate from Hershey, Pennsylvania. But little things like this, I'm putting in the information that they're reading. So by the time auction day comes around, the people they're wound up about this. And this is for a cake. But just the way built it up, I'm not an auctioneer by trade. I just can kind of have a little gift of gab a little bit sometimes. And I'll throw this out there and I'll do my best to imitate what a real auctioneer will do. And it's been paying off. It really has. That's the one thing we've been doing. I've also, because we've had such good luck with the auctions, I've opened it up to let people in the meeting, if they have something they made, they come up and they've got Elsie Wisnack came up with these pillows that she made for pets. And, you know, this is a surprise. Boom. She comes up to you before the meeting and she says, can you auction this off for CART? And you're going, well, what is it? And they're saying, well, it's a cushion that's for cats or dogs or whatever. So I'll go up to Sean Ham and I'll say, Sean, we've got a last minute auction coming up for CART. Is that something that you got time that I can do today? And Sean will go, yeah. Sean's real, yeah, go for it guy. So yeah, so it'll take me a minute and I'll go up there and I'll auction off this cushion that Elsie made for CART. And if you build this cushion up and tell him that it's handmade, and that you make up, so she took 33 hours making this cushion, and you say it with a straight face, the people know me, they start chuckling right off the bat. And the next thing you know, they're throwing they're throwing money at me saying, I want that cushion. You know, so we've had that. We had leftover items from our auction that the club has annually. And we didn't know what to do with these things. And again, that was a last minute surprise when little Ted Carruthers, I shouldn't say that, when Ted Carruthers comes up and says to me, he goes, Tom, look, I've got these nutcrackers. Do you want to sell these? And I say, all right, let's give it a shot. Sean, can we sell these today? And Sean goes, have at it. And we got $30 for these nutcrackers that Ted picked them up at BCUM for $6 a piece. And then he donated them to CART, and which I should give him a receipt for $18, but anyway, I did. And then I turned around and sold them for 30. So it's just these little tiny things that we have been doing at our meeting, and it's really taken off. It's been fun to do. As I said, we're not high dollar club, But our goal this year was to raise $2,000 for CART. We're basically halfway through the year. We're going to make our $2,000 goal. So that's what happens at the Valdez Club. If anybody has any questions or just wants to shake their head and say, you're a complete goofball, but it is working, yeah, feel free to do so. Anyway, that's all I have, Tiffany. Or
Awesome.
Are you Tammy? Wait a minute. No, that's all I have on it.
Any questions for Tom? He really does do a great job. And a lot of it is his personality and his willingness to stand up there and just embarrass himself or whatever it takes. There are some great videos and their club, I will say, does a great job with sharing it on social media as well. And then we share it on the CART page. But if you guys have any questions for him.
Tom, how often are you doing the cake auctions?
We've been doing them about 3 years now.
No, I mean periodically, once a month.
That was something that I had to be careful of, and I didn't. Excuse me, I didn't know if you throw them out there if you keep pushing CART in people's faces, I always felt that they tend to back off a little bit. Rotary does that a lot. We're asking for money for this, we're asking for donations for that. And what I found that works is about once a month. Occasionally when somebody comes up and says, can you do this? Yeah, we make an exception for that. But the plan is about once a month, once every 5 weeks. For something like that.
That's great. I'm really familiar with Valdez since that's where my wife grew up.
Is that right? No kidding. Oh, Valdez is a great club. Right. It really is. We just did to me, a true CART dump. And what we did was I went to Dollar General. Bruce Bingham had done this years ago. He had only a few jars left. Went to Dollar General, bought those the little glass jars, made the CART signs from the website, and gave everybody in the club a CART jar. And said, in about 3 months, we're going to collect those jars back. Well, I had the jars were all on the tables. And I've made a quick announcement, I could see where you just get a feeling that this isn't really going as the way I really wanted it to. And one of the girls stood up, Alicia Mears, stands up with her phone and says, what we're going to do is we're going to get everybody to stand up, take a group picture with your empty jar. And we did. And anytime you say, hey, we're going to take a group picture, everybody gets up and away you go to the corner, and Alicia's laughing and the girls are laughing and we're hamming it up. And they took a picture of everybody holding their empty jars. About 3 months later, again, I started building up on the weekly newsletter. Coming up in 2 weeks, don't forget, we're doing the CART dump. The CART dump is coming. You will get a valuable prize. And boy, did they get a valuable prize. Everybody got a cookie. But, here they all show up. They all show up to our meeting. They all have their jars. These jars, when you look at them, they're a minimum of $20 in each jar. Some of our jars had a lot more silver, so they had $60 in them. And everybody comes up with their jar. I have a big Lowe's bucket with the, Lowe's covered up with the CART logo. I had music playing, and I said, okay, what we're going to do is everybody stands up with their CART jars. Oh, no, I'm sorry. First, you get your picture taking, holding your full CART jar. And 5x7s were available. You can use them for your Christmas cards this year. We had this whole thing there. They took the picture. Then I started the music. They came up one table at a time, and they dumped their coins into the big blue bucket. And the music, we've got a lot of ladies members, and I pick music, then they're dancing and they're doing this as they come up, to the big blue bucket, and they're dumping their change in there. And we had a ball doing it. After the meeting, I took that bucket with Ted Carruthers to his credit union to the money counting machine. We had $534 worth of coin. We had another $100 worth of the silent money was in there. A couple Jacksons and Hamiltons made their way in there. And we ended up with over $630 collecting with coins, CART coins. We did it. So that worked out very well. Now we'll hold off on that for probably another half a year, and then we'll do the coin thing again. So sorry to answer your question. Sorry about taking so much time up to do that.
That was great, Tom. And so some of you may have heard of that coin drop before. We did have that as one of our fundraising ideas of the month several months back. And if you want to see more about that, there is a video on YouTube. If you just go to YouTube and put in the search bar CART Fund coin drop. And I think we did start calling it a coin drop at some point instead of a dump because people were questioning that coinage. But the Rotary Club of Murphy, where Tim was a member for so long, they started that several years back. And there's some great videos of that. And it is really catching on. It's a great, easy way to raise some additional money in your club. So thank you for sharing that, Tom, because you guys did do a great thing by doing the before and the after picture. And they don't just stand there and hold the jar in their picture. They're laid out. They're doing fun things.
Oh, yeah.
It's a
Everybody
great
had
photo
a great time.
And it makes your club look like it's a fun group to be a part of as well, which is great for membership in your organization as well.
It is. We're very fortunate. We have good members.
Great. Thank you, Tom. All right. First off, I want to let you know that the public image team is working hard on creating a package of materials. Some of you have been giving us ideas of things that you need. We are working on that. They'll be rolling out new things every month, so stay tuned for that. One of the things that's going to be at the top of our list is we know that you guys, especially you folks in the governor line, are getting ready for your pets and your pre-pets, your president-elect trainings coming up in the spring. And we are creating a one-page flyer that we will be able to share with the governors and the governors-elect and all of them that they can include in their training manuals that to explain what CART is. We used to have this years ago. We don't have one that is up to date right now, but we're working on that. So we will be sharing that very soon. And then what we would like to ask you as a district chair to do is to touch base with your district governor-elect and say, hey, I have a one-page thing that we would like to put in there about CART. What is the deadline? When do you need it? That kind of thing. Make sure that we haven't missed any deadlines. Usually it's the end of December, early mid-January, something like that. So we're kind of working under that premise right now. But the other thing is, as far as dates, is that coming up before we know it, spring will be here and a lot of districts will be hosting their district conferences. So we want you to start planning, if you haven't already, to check with your current district governor to see if there is a time slot available in their schedule to have CART on the agenda, whether it's you as a district chair presenting some awards or whether it's inviting one of the researchers or one of our board members or someone to come and speak. We did a great job last year. I can't remember the exact number. Rod probably knows how many district conferences we were in front of last year. It was 9 or 10 maybe. It was quite a few. We want to continue that. We want you to help us facilitate that. So I'm asking all of the district chairs if you will send me the dates of your conference, but so we can keep it on our Excel list. But also if you will reach out to your sitting district governor and ask them, is there a spot in your agenda at the conference that you can include CART? And then to your governors elect, ask them if you can insert a page into their training or include CART as part of their training as well for next year. Make sure that you as the district chair have an opportunity to get in front of those folks, that they know who you are and all of that. So we want to make sure that you all are thinking farther ahead. We know it's the holidays. There's a lot going on, but district conferences will be here before you know it. And those agendas get really full. And we want to make sure that we are included in those, especially if you would like to have one of the researchers come, because you need to make sure there's a budget for their flight and their hotel and their meals and that kind of thing. So I know a lot of you are already working on that. We have good news about this call, the CART Conversations call, beginning in January. We're going to be on a consistent night. We're going to be on the second Tuesday of every month, again at 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I said Tuesday. I was wrong. It's Thursday. I'm so sorry. The second Thursday of every month. So the next one will be January the 11th, and the second Thursday of every month through June for sure. We'll probably move on and do it again, but we're going to do it for 6 months and try it and make sure that that is working for folks. We've been bouncing around a lot because there are a lot of clubs that meet in the evenings. There are a lot of other activities that people are involved in. We're going to try this for 6 months and see if it works. So please go ahead and mark your calendar from January through June for the second Thursday of every month, 5:30 Eastern time. And Lunch and Learn, also known as Lunch a la carte, our satellite club that is growing. They are up to 7 members, and they are a cause-based club that is planning to charter out and become their own club, and they will be supporting the CART Fund. They are going to be taking over the coordination of the Lunch a la carte sessions. Thank you, Bill Parker. He is going to be in charge of that. And so we already have several scheduled for the next few months, but then he's going to be working on the rest of them. Those are also on the calendar. You can find them in 2 different places, either in DAC DB, District and Club Database, by clicking on calendar and then selecting multi-district events, and you'll find all of the dates, and you can register there so that you'll get all of the email notifications. But they are also on the CART Fund website. So if you go to cartfund.org, there is a tab that says calendar, which is very easy to find now because we have moved it. And if you click on calendar, you will get a monthly calendar a schedule. It's a great big visual calendar. And on the date of the event, you can easily see the Zoom link, the agenda, the graphics, if there are some. All of that information is right there on the calendar for you. And anything that is already scheduled is already on the calendar. So if you go into DACDB, you can register for it. Again, get the emails in advance and also the day before, because we want to make sure people have it on their calendar in advance. All right. I think those are the only dates that I had to give you. I wanted to add one thing to Tim Radford's segment from earlier that we failed to mention was all of this information is so helpful to all of you all. But don't forget, you also have a district public image chair, and we encourage you to work closely with that person to see about what their plans are for promoting things. Maybe they're looking for something that they can pitch, and CART would be a natural for that. So don't forget to, if you go back to your job description as a district chair, or your job description as a club chair, there is some information in there about working closely with your district public image chair. So we want to remind you of that. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight. We will have this uploaded to our YouTube channel as quickly as possible. We hope that you, we are so glad to see so many of you joining us, both from our district chairs, our club chairs, our governor lines. We are really appreciative of each and every one of you. I hope that everyone has an amazing holiday season, and we will see you back in the new year.